Okay, I'd like to welcome you to another exciting episode of What's Happening with the Rugged Man. And as usual, I have a very unique guest. I have a very special guest. This is somebody who is in the business of saving lives, protecting lives and property. And there's been a lot of ups and downs going on, but I just wanted to bring him on the show so he can talk to us, enlighten us, educate us, and give us some stories about his job, especially his office. So, ladies and gentlemen, with me today, I have none other than the Lagos State Police PRO DSP Bala Elkana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Maga,
Good to be here.
I'm happy. You know why I'm smiling like this? This police is my friend.
Sure.
If you don't try me, don't try me anyway. Okay, boss. I just start by saying I know you've been receiving calls and on issues, so I won't hold you for too long, but I would just like you to introduce yourself a little to our people who are watching and listening right now.
Well, I am DSP Bala Elkana, the Police Public Relations Officer, Lagos State Command.
Okay.
I think I've been in this business of security for over 15 years now as a police officer. Before Lagos, I worked in other states. I was in Niger State as Police Public Relations Officer. I
Okay.
was in Akwa Ibom State also as Police Public Relations Officer.
Oh,
I was in Katsina State some years back as community policing advisor and trainer. I am also into community policing as a trainer, as an advisor, and also a consultant.
wow.
Apart from police public relation duties, I did quite a number of things in the past, like investigation, operations, and all manner. Talking about my education, I have not gone to so many schools. I
Okay.
just have a bachelor degree in law
That's something now.
and four master's degrees.
You really not done enough. What else do you want? You want to be part of people who
So,
created the world?
no, I had someone who have four first degrees, four master's degree, four PhDs, and I say, wow, I'm not there yet. So with just four, I think I'm looking for more.
Now
So
I'm
maybe I
feeling
should get more of the masters
now I'm feeling very uneducated.
than the PhD.
I'm feeling very uneducated. Thank you. I shall not be intimidated. We are here together. Thank you very much. Thank you. What state are you from?
Uh,
Don't tell me you're from a lot of states.
well, I think I'm always reluctant on answering that question because it divides us a lot as to where are you from, what religion do you belong to, and all these
No, I'm
bits.
not going to religion. I mean just your
Uh,
state of origin,
the heart of the north,
which is
the capital of the northern region,
which is. I'm
Kaduna,
asking this
Kaduna
way
State.
because where?
Kaduna State.
Kaduna State. Because as a police officer, you not allow somebody tell you heart of the state or heart of you
You
know.
know, Kaduna used to be the capital of the entire northern region.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still a rallying point for everybody in the north. So it's a big place.
No problem. Okay, so wow. I was gonna say you've been a public relations officer in so many states, and but then when you now told me your educational background, I now understood. So I don't want to go back there anymore and feel any worse than I already feel. How do you balance work and family?
That I think is the most difficult one. I'm not sure I've up to now found answers to that question because one seems to be suffering
Yeah.
because I seem to have given all I have to the job. At a point, I have a little boy who will look at me and say, Daddy, I don't like your job
Why?
because
Because he doesn't get to see you much.
you're not always there. As I'm talking, I'm in Lagos. They are somewhere in Niger State, in Mina. That is where they're based. Because all the places I've moved to, I can't move with them. Because you have to decide in between two, distorting their school, distorting the mother's work, and be moving with them to different
Different
environment,
places and having to change
or
all the time.
leaving them in one place and seeing them less often. So you have to pick one, and I think it's better for them to be in one place and be stable while I pay the price of being absent from them for some times. Now, this Corona period, I think for more than 8 months now, I've not seen them.
Wow.
The last I saw them was, I think, October, September last year. And I'm here. Whenever I'm planning to go, something will happen that require my attention in Lagos. I have to stay back, pay attention to it. During the lockdown, I am not sure I slept for 2 hours in a day. There is no how I'll sleep for up to 30 minutes without my sleep being interrupted with a call that require my attention urgently till daybreak. It continues like that, and that has been the life here. Part of the sacrifices that we're also making. So
Wow.
there is no balanced life between family and
The
work.
work.
Work is taking more than the family.
Let's pray you don't get to Mina one day and he calls you uncle.
Maybe. Or they'll shut the door and say, no, you don't belong here.
Okay, no problem. What are the challenges of being a police officer, especially in this present day Nigeria?
Honestly, sometimes it looks so depressing. You will be putting all your best to secure fellow citizens. And when you sit down in the office, you're watching the news, you hardly hear people say thank you. Everyone is hard on you. You read pages of newspaper, nobody is saying anything good about the police. Everybody is hitting the police hard, and you keep on asking yourself sometimes, am I in the wrong place? But you know, deep inside you, you're doing your best. People are moving freely because somebody is making it to happen for them, which is the police. For you to leave your house to your workplace, to your worship center, to whatever, to the market and return safely, people think that it's natural without knowing that no, somebody somewhere make it to happen. And it's natural with human being not to remember those good moments. They only look at faults. So all of us will be doing well, then one police officer will misbehave out there, then the insult will be on all of us. When you go through comments on Twitter, you look, all of them are cursed, all of them are wicked, all of them are demons, all of them are this. You know, I remember a comment somebody make, and that this police public relation officer is an illiterate. And I look at myself, I say, what? And I try to take the profile of the person. The person is still undergoing his first degree. I say, God, because I'm a police officer. So we are trying to take all the insults, all the bashes from people, while also doing our best. So it's quite demanding, especially in a place like Nigeria, where people do not really appreciate what the police do, where the relationship between the police and the people is not too cordial. There is a gap between the police and the people. There is this we and them mentality. It makes it even more difficult.
So do you think that that gap, do you think it's because of, okay, no, let me put it this way. Do you think this is so because bad news always seems to be louder than good news?
Well, it's a factor. And one other thing is the foundation in which policing is built in Nigeria. You see, if the foundation is faulty, the building also may not stand well.
So do you think the reason for the gap between, the police and the people is because bad news travels or spreads faster. And you know what I mean by bad news? Because, like you said, you're doing a lot. You're giving a lot to protecting the citizens. Then one rogue officer does something, and the insults start. So you think it's because bad news travels faster and wider that the gap is there?
Well, it's a factor, but it's not the entire reason why we have the gap. Yes, we know naturally people want to hear bad news than even good news. You have naming ceremony, the news may not go wide, but burial, this person is dead, it will travel wide. So that is a factor. But looking also at the foundation, where are we coming from? How did we get to where we are now? Then what do we need to do to have a befitting police service for our citizens? That is exactly what we're focusing on.
Okay.
Because the foundation of policing in Nigeria is not people's oriented. The colonial masters set the first police force to protect them, not the people.
To protect the elite.
To protect those in government, the colonial masters. They also used them to collect tax from the people. Now, tax was quite alien to some culture in Nigeria. Let me go back to cultural issue too. Tax was quite alien to some culture to pay tax to government. Yes, we know some culture you take some gifts to the king or to whoever is the traditional ruler. Now the colonial masters are needed to fund their government and they have to collect tax. So they need to use some level of force to get those tax paid. People are not happy being forced to pay tax. And you that is being used to force them to pay tax will never be in their good book. You will never be their friend. That is the foundation. And over time, the gap again was getting wider. If people are discussing maybe in an environment and a policeman appeared, they will say, keep quiet, see the police. The level of trust has dropped because they see him as someone who represents the states
And not the citizens.
and not the citizens. They isolate him from social contacts, social contracts. They don't see him as part of their communities. So he is just a stranger. Even if he is born in that community, as long as he's a police officer, he is no longer part of them. So when they are discussing, they see him, they keep quiet. That gap continues that way. And if you have such a gap, believe you me, there will be an atmosphere of mistrust because people criticize each other when there is a big gap between them. They don't really know each other.
Okay.
You come to an environment newly and people know little or nothing about you and they say all manner of things. But when you get close to that person, you understand him closely, you discover that he's different from what people are saying. Then it also happens in relationships. You meet a lady newly, don't expect her to accept you fully. She don't even know you, you are just a stranger. You need time to build that relationship. She will understand who you are. You understand her. At a point, you begin to trust each other. You begin to share things in common over time. If that atmosphere is not created, then you can't work together. So, police working on its own, citizens working on its own. Then it got to the point also that police assumed the role of experts. We are trained, we have the arms, we have all it takes, we will protect your communities. So they brought me to Lagos from Kaduna to police Lagos. And I assumed that I know Lagos more than Lagosians. Believe you me, I will fail. That is a mentality.
Yeah.
Coming that I am the expert, I got the training, I have the gun, I can do it better, I don't need your input. It's not going to work. That is the old fashion, which is why we are driving towards a new style called community policing,
I guess that
community-based
I
policing
guess that
to
kind
change the
of
narrative.
that kind of leads to the next question I wanted to ask you. I wanted to say, how do we get the average how do we get the average Nigerian to really believe in that police is our friend?
We must start with building relationship, having all-inclusive policing system,
What do you mean by all inclusive police system?
police and citizens working together, everybody participating in policing the local community, everybody playing his role in policing the area, returning to base. Let me use the word return to base, back to base,
Okay.
where we were before the arrival of colonial masters. We had a system of policing our local communities in the past. Everyone was involved. If a stranger steps into a community, everybody will know that we have a new person. The community is not experiencing housebreaking and stealing. Then suddenly a stranger step in, and there is a case of housebreaking and stealing. They know whom to go to. They know whom to point their fingers at, because everyone seems to be conscious of his surrounding and the security of his surrounding. Then gradually, with the introduction of the colonial master policing style, then lifestyle also, urbanization, everybody building houses with fence, everybody living his own life, not minding who is his neighbor, then crime also begin to set in. Because you drive into your house, it's a no man's land. You don't even care about your surrounding. You drive into your house, you drive
Lock
out.
your gate.
So you have no business knowing who is your next door neighbor. So a criminal element can live next door,
And you not know.
plan crime, attack your community, and nobody cares. That gap now becomes so wide, and all the blames now return to those who call themselves the experts, those in uniform. And there is no how the expert can really solve the problem of the communities without the help of those living there, because everybody must be involved. So community policing is saying that everybody needs to play his part in community in policing that local community. So you need to put your eye on your neighbors, be conscious of your surrounding also, at least know a little about who are your neighbors.
Okay.
Then there should be a constant communication between the neighborhoods and the police patrolling their area. Then there should be a coordination in the activities of all those involved in policing, whether formal or informally.
This
You know,
brings me to the term some people use when when they want to describe somebody who gives the police information. They call them snitch. They'll say snitch. But I believe you will only be a snitch, or no, I believe you only have a problem with people in your community giving the police information that will lead to the safety of everybody if you are the one causing the problem in the community. Now, I'm not talking about you. I mean, if anybody has a problem with his neighbor giving police needed information about maybe an armed robber that lives around that's causing a problem, that means that person is also an armed robber. So yes, I understand what you mean by community policing, and it is one of the best ways forward, because the police cannot be everywhere at the same time. So where they don't have information, where they're not present at a particular time and something happens, then it's now left to the people who were there when it happened to let the police know. But the problem we now seem to have in Nigeria is a lot of people say to themselves, they have this, I call it them being selfish. When they do well, it didn't happen to me, so it was my own. And then they walk away, forgetting that tomorrow it could happen to them. And then how would they feel when the person that was present that could have given information to help you now does the same thing you did by saying, well, it didn't happen to me, it's none of my business, and you walk away. So we all need to work hand in hand with ourselves, with the police, with the soldiers, to make sure things work and make the community safe. But now, in a situation, how do you feel when you hear cases of policemen harassing people unnecessarily? How do you feel?
You see, that is another reason why the gap is getting wider on daily basis. You can't harass me and expect me to like you. You can't suppress me and expect me to like you. You must treat me well to gain my friendship.
Yes.
Good. So, in as much as we are also asking citizens to participate in policing their local communities, we must also be open. We must embrace them. We must accept them. We must treat them right. Which is why we focus so much also on trainings that have to do with protection of human rights. Every single policeman out there must understand that human beings have rights that are given to them not just by our constitution but by their maker, which must be protected. So we lay so much emphasis on that because the more we respect the rights of people, the more also we gain their friendship, their goodwill, their trust, and also their confidence. I have tried over the years to be careful in what I promise out to people, even as PRO. I will not say what I know we cannot do. I'll say it exactly the way it is, verify it, and you'll see that is exactly how it is. Why am I doing that? I have a name to protect, and I also want you to trust me so that when I say something tomorrow, you'll be able to believe and say, yes, if it is coming from him, then it must be true.
Okay.
Because if I say something that you investigate and it turns out to be false, even if I'm saying the truth tomorrow, you will not believe me. So I've maintained that culture of saying it the way it is, no matter how painful it is. I think we introduced a style of even parading police officers who misbehave, releasing their photographs for people to see that these are the people behind this. We call it a system of naming and shaming.
Okay.
We put it out for people to see. Starting from the first scenario when Kolade Johnson was murdered,
Yes, in 2019.
people were saying, police will sweep this under the carpet, police will do this. I did not just release the photograph of the inspector that killed him. I allowed the press to even talk to him.
Yeah, I saw that.
When we charged him to court, I gave the update. Pressmen follow the case in court. We gave the name of the court for citizens who are interested in following the case to follow the case in court. When there's a new adjourned date, they know. As the case is coming up, they follow it up. That is a culture of openness. That is a culture of transparency for people to really see and know that, yes, this man misbehaved, this is the outcome. That case is ongoing.
I know.
It's ongoing for people who are following.
I follow it.
It's ongoing. So at the end of the day, when judgment is given, people will also know the punishment he has gotten. Then that will also send a strong signal to others. If you look at from the time we took that step to now, believe you me, the rate at which police shoot and kill people in Lagos has dropped. It was almost every day
at a point
in the past, almost every day affair. But it has dropped drastically. It is not gone completely because you can't have a setting that will be completely perfect. But at least we have improved that to a level that is bearable.
That I agree. And if you remember earlier, I said it's as if bad news spreads faster. So yes, it has reduced. I know because I'm in communication with you a lot of times, but it's just like you said, once it happens again, it's as if it opens a whole new chapter and anything good that any officer has done is pushed to the back. And it's always because the family affected, it's as if everybody else that's not an officer feels the pain of the family affected. So everybody sympathizes with them. So that's why I asked you that how do you feel when, a fellow police officer does this type of thing? And you have heard our own Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Bala Elkana. And as my own last word, I will tell you that The police is not perfect, just like the citizens aren't perfect. But one thing we both are human beings. So we need to work together, love each other, most especially respect each other as the human beings we are, and treat each other right. So that way we can get better policing, and moving forward, we can have a better nation. Thank you for watching what's happening with Rugged Man, because right now, this is what's happening with Rugged Man. Later.